This conference will now be recorded.
So please know that this meeting is being recorded this evening, and it will be posted on the community YouTube channel tomorrow and then blasted out to the community. So please don't worry if you cannot stay for the entire meeting for some reason this evening. We do anticipate this meeting lasting for approximately 2.5 hours tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining us here for the 2024 Meet the Candidates event. We have 10 candidates who are running for the board of directors with 4 seats open. 2 of those elected will have 2-year terms, and the other 2 elected will have 1-year terms. As a reminder, the election is scheduled for 1 week from this evening, which is Wednesday, September 18th at 6 p.m. in the Plaza Clubhouse. For those of you who signed up for electronic voting will open this Friday, September 13th at 8 a.m. You will receive an email Friday morning from Simply Voting, that's the voting platform, letting you know that electronic voting is open. Voting will close on Tuesday, September 17th at 4 p.m. for both electronic voting and for mailing in or dropping off your paper ballots. If you do miss this deadline, the only way to cast your vote will be to physically show up to the meeting on September 18th to cast your vote in person. And again, that is on Wednesday, September 18th at 6 p.m. at the Plaza Clubhouse. It's not too late to sign up for electronic voting, so if you still are interested in doing this, we encourage you to fill out the electronic voting consent form and turn it into the HOA office. For tonight, we kindly ask that if you are not one of the 10 candidates, please turn off your camera. We would like only the 10 candidates to have their cameras on. At the top of your screen, you should see a pull-down menu for viewing options. If you select the active cameras option, you will only see the candidates who have their cameras on and me. We will have 3 rounds tonight. The order of which the candidates will speak in each round will be randomly selected. For the first round, each candidate will have 4 minutes to deliver an opening statement. After each candidate completes their opening statement, we will pick at random who will speak in order for the second round. For that round, each candidate will have 8 minutes to discuss their top 3 priorities as a board member for the community. After each candidate completes the second round, we will once again select at random the order, and each candidate will have 2 minutes to deliver a closing statement. Debbie will be keeping time for us this evening, and again, she's sitting right here next to me. For the candidates, please do not go over your given time. In the interest of time tonight, and to be fair to all of the candidates, I will let you know when your time is almost up, and if you do continue after your allotted time, you will be muted. I will give you a quick signal on the camera. I don't want to vocally interrupt you for that signal just because it is virtual and there is lag time. So I will simply put my hand up to the camera, so make sure you can see me, and that will signify that you have approximately 10 seconds left. Okay. Please do not interrupt any other candidate while they are speaking. If you do, you may be muted. In fact, we do ask that when it is not your turn to speak, if you could please keep your microphone muted. And this is for everybody. As a community, it is crucial to remember that despite differing opinions, you are all neighbors and members of this community. We value and respect each individual's right to express their views, but to ensure that our meeting remains productive and respectful, we ask everyone to approach their discussions this evening with civility and consideration as to maintain a positive and inclusive atmosphere for all participants. Please be aware that any behavior deemed disrespectful or disruptive to the meeting will not be tolerated, and any individuals who exhibit such behavior may be excused from the meeting. I thank you for your understanding and your cooperation in fostering a respectful dialogue tonight. With that being said, we are ready to begin. We are now going to randomly pick our first candidate to begin with opening statements. So as a reminder, as we select you now, you will have 4 minutes to deliver your opening statement. Okay, Debbie, we're going to pick our first candidate. Okay, we're going to go with Jean Walkery. It's Walkery, isn't it, Jean?
Yes, Jean Walkery, that's it.
Jean Walkery. Okay, Jean, you do have 4 minutes. Do we have time? Perfect. All right, go ahead, Jean.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Gene Walkery, like she said. I'm a retired IT professional. Worked at a couple major corporations, 32 years at MeadWestvaco, 7 years at Northrop Grumman. I started out as a computer programmer at a paper mill, worked my way up to systems analyst and leading efforts at the divisional level. Then I was hired at the corporate level and made it all the way up to leading global source and support operations for MeadWestvaco, which source of support is equipment maintenance, spare parts inventory, purchasing, and accounts payable, which are all relevant to our operations here. Good things to know. Um, I'm originally from Upper Michigan. I'm actually there now taking care of my mom who had a stroke this summer. You may notice my Uber accent. It comes back the more I talk, the more people think I'm Canadian. And I'm a full-time resident of Bunker Drive with my wife, Sherry. We have 6 grown children, married, and they've given us 18 wonderful grandchildren, and actually one more on the way this month. I love to golf. I golf 2 days a week with my 3 golf buddies, and on Friday or Saturday I play in the league. I'd like to play both, but my back doesn't cooperate. So I regularly attend plaza events. You'll see me up there quite often for things like trivia and karaoke. We play cards up there, a little of everything. And I'm also attending board meetings. You'll see me all the time at board meetings, as well as I used to attend the committee meetings, even though I wasn't on the committees. And recently I was co-leader of the 4Ts implementation. So I helped Peter Lightburn get that implemented. And along with, we worked on the Yellow Dogs inventory software, which we're still working to get in because it was missing some functionality we needed. And in my spare time, I love spending time with my family, singing karaoke and traveling. And then I thought about what qualities I'm looking for in a candidate. So I thought I'd share that with you and tell you how I fit into those categories. I thought honesty, intelligence, organization, and budget consciousness are good qualities to have in the board member. As far as honesty goes, I recently had to report 2 different cases where I had credits on my plaza bill that I didn't deserve. And a couple weeks back, Terry Green stopped me and said that from last year, I was the most honest golfer out there. I had the most scores turned in for all the tee times that I've signed up for the last year. So I like to think of myself as a very honest person. As far as intelligence, I do have a master's degree. I made it up to leader of a global operation of source and support computer programming and software solutions. I've implemented major systems like SAP. And I've been formally trained in problem solving, which I used daily in my efforts in the corporate world. As far as organization, people that knew me said I was probably the most organized person they knew. I have an knack for collecting information and putting it into outlines and organizing it in a really good fashion. And if you can tell, I'm looking at my outline of what I had for this meeting to help keep me going here. I've also been involved with golf and bowling tournaments and leagues. I've organized many leagues, many tournaments, and run them all by myself. But I've also been part of a city bowling association where I've been secretary for many years and also served as vice president and president. So I have a lot of experience in organizing things and participating. And then as far as budget consciousness, for the last 30 years, I've been keeping track of my family budget in Quicken. I can tell you where every dollar has been spent, much to the dismay of my wife. She knows that I like to keep to the budget. She might not like it as much, but we work hard at it and we do a good job. So it's very important. So those are some of the things I think are important. Hopefully you'll agree that those are important and you'll see that I hopefully can meet those needs.
Sorry, I was muted, Jean. You are
I didn't
at
see it,
time.
but that was it for me anyway.
Okay. I was like, oh no, he can't hear me, and then I realized that I'm muted. So thank you, Jean. Okay, next up we have Liesel. Liesel. Okay, Liesel, you do have 4 minutes for your opening statement. Go ahead.
Thanks, Stephanie. Good evening, everyone. My name is Liesel Butler Burke, and I live on Mickelson Court. Anybody who plays golf, I'm on the left-hand side of the 15th. So that's where I am. First of all, I would like to thank my fellow candidates. I've been involved in HOAs where you've had to beg, borrow, and steal to get somebody to run for a board. And to think that we have 10 candidates, very good candidates here, who are all willing to give up their time and effort to work in the community is just fantastic, and it's a testament to just how great this community is. So thanks, guys. I'm looking forward to a good meeting tonight, even if we're all muted. But anyway, a little bit of background about me. As you can tell from the accent, anybody who doesn't know me, I'm from Ireland, Dublin to be exact. I'm a Dublin girl. We moved over here in 2009. Myself, my husband Finton, and our 2 dogs, and we lived in Highland Reserve, which is a golf community just down the road at 27. I became quite involved in Highlands. I was the first person to ever get elected to the board of directors by a homeowner quorum in Highlands. I was very privileged to work in Highlands for close to 8 years. 6 of those I was president of the HOA. And in that time, it taught me that, Champions Gate Country Club and Highlands is a bit like comparing Davenport with New York, but they're still cities. So the basic tenet is the same. But most people just want transparency and good communication from the board. The board hopefully will work together for the betterment of the community, which is what we all want. But for me, the main thing with a board is transparency and community. I still am involved to a certain extent in Highlands, in that I act like a consultant sometimes for the board. I know where all the bodies are buried up there, it's good that you actually can continue to deal with people that you've been living with for many years. In 2020 we moved down here, and I came off the board in Highlands then. I love it here. I love the golf. I am a very bad golfer. Myself and Nancy Hughes are proud members of the 54 Club, which means we have a 54 handicap. I think that's probably the highest in the community, which may not be something to scream about, but we are available for scrambles. It's just a fantastic community. The amenities, the people, it's more the people. And that's really why I want to get involved, because I think there are some things that we need to get working on. And I think if you get the right-minded people in there to do that, I think it'll be fantastic. So I really appreciate this opportunity tonight. Again, I thank my fellow candidates. It's great to see you all. And mind you, I was talking to Billy for about an hour the other night on the 18th. We both got bitten alive. But it is nice to see it, and I hope everybody has a good meeting tonight. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to pick our next. Okay, we have James Stone. Ready, James? You have 4 minutes. Go ahead.
Good evening, fellow Country Club residents. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the community for their support while I've been a member of the board of directors. To my colleagues currently on the board, I want to thank you for your work and dedication to the community. And for those that are stepping up this year, thank you for your participation. My name is James Stone. I've been a resident of Champions Gate since 2018 with my wife Laura and our son Kevin. I feel that Champions Gate has a lot to offer. We just need to nurture and grow it to let it shine. I've been on the board of directors since 2023, and currently I serve as the vice president. As a board member, I have sought to unify the community and to restore a sense of civility. It is a difficult task to provide oversight for a community the size of Champions Gate. You must balance competing demands from the residents of 937 homes, accept that not everyone is going to embrace your decision. However, I've approached my role on the board from the perspective of doing the right thing for our community. At times, this makes for unpopular decisions, but occasionally that is what you must do. As a leader, you must seek to understand the situation from multiple perspectives and to leverage off of the expertise within our community. As such, I have sought input from our past board members as they possess the knowledge, perspective that is invaluable to us. As a board member, you must take an all-encompassing approach and be singularly focused, and not to be singularly focused on one amenity, area, or even your own personal needs. To this end, I have taken the lead role for the board in addressing the more complex and challenging issues. For example, I designed the Plaza Access Card program that maintained the integrity of our governing documents while providing a path for some of the residents to enjoy this amenity. Board members must also work collaboratively and closely with our management company. It is essential that you balance supporting the management team while demanding performance for the HOA. This is a difficult task. So, what has the FSR team member said about me? Here are a few quotes from 3 different team members when they nominated me for the most community-minded board member in the state of Florida. James is the dream board member. He understands the issues that management deals with and tries to make everyone's job easier. James is open-minded and very inclusive of the community and management team. Working alongside a board member like James is truly a pleasure. His genuine concern for the well-being of the entire community, coupled with his unwavering support for the team, motivates us. Moving to financials, our overall financial position has been strong under our tenure. Our reserves are higher and our operating cash is higher as well. To me, one of the most important numbers to look at is revenue from operations, excluding your HOA fees. This is the revenue we generate from such areas as golf course, the plaza, or paid events. As at the end of July, we are $270,000 higher in 2024 than in 2023. Most of this is explained by a sharp turnaround at the golf club, where our revenues have increased by over $210,000. I was the guiding hand in this improvement to our financial results. All of our financial statements are available on the Connect portal for your perusal. The totality of these financial results puts us on a path for no or minimal increase in our HOA fees this year. I have demonstrated my commitment to the HOA and community, and I've devoted the time and energy necessary in order to get the work done. I have a proven track record of delivering financial results and believe I am best positioned to help guide our community as a member of the board. Thank you for listening.
Perfect timing. Thank you, James. All right, next we have Clarence. Ooh, Clarence. There you go. All right, Clarence, you do have 4 minutes. Go ahead.
Sure, thank you. Good evening. I'm Clarence Kavanagh. My wife and I have been residents of Champion Gate since March of 2020. So just as COVID happened, we're both avid golfers and we enjoy the lifestyle here at Champions Gate. I'm a native of New Orleans, but I did live in Atlanta for 6 years after Katrina struck the city. Over the years, I've been a member of 4 or 5 country clubs, both in New Orleans and in Atlanta. So I've experienced the good and bad of country club membership and of HOA management. Hopefully, along with the other elected officials, I can make some changes that'll be positive. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Clarence. Next we have John Lambert. All right, John, you have 4 minutes, John.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce myself and share my background along with past and present services to the communities in which I've lived in, along with my public service. For those that may not know me, my name is John Lambert. I moved back to Florida in June of 2023 and am a full-time owner resident here in Champions Gate Country Club and live on Croquet Court. I've been involved in the community association industry for 17 plus years. I'm licensed within the state of Florida as a licensed community association manager, which is required with the state for those that are involved in managing community associations. Currently, I am the president here at Champions Gate Country Club, and I'm proud to be a part of a very strong team. Previously, I've served as president for Promenades at Bellatrix for 8 years. As president, I led the association's effort to reduce its delinquencies from $165,000 to $3,000 upon my moving out of the state. I also had the privilege to lead its defect case against the developer, achieving a favorable multi-million-dollar settlement. Also, I served as vice president for the Bellatrix Master Association for 3 years. And while living in the state of New Mexico, I served as president for the Mariposa Neighborhood Association for 2 years, where I lived prior to moving back to Florida. My HOA committee experience included turnover committee for Bellatrade Master Association for the clubhouse and grounds, turnover committee for promenades at Bellatrade, social and recreation committee chair at Bellatrade, and clubhouse committee at the Legends Golf and Country Club. My public service experience includes current board supervisor for the Stony Brook South at Champions Gate CDD, which is separate from Stony Brook South CDD. I'm past board supervisor for Champions Gate CDD and a past board supervisor for Toho Water Authority. My professional experience includes currently that I am the West Regional President for Century Management. We are the third largest community association management company in the country. My region includes 9 divisions, 1 each in Kansas, Texas, Colorado, Arizona, and Washington, 2 each in New Mexico and Idaho. In total, this includes 135 employees, 472 associations, 51,802 homes, and approximately 103,000 owners, with an overall budget of over $12 million. Prior to becoming involved in community management, I spent 37 years in the engineering field, holding corporate strategic leadership roles in the automotive, agriculture, telecommunications, and military industries. For 15 years, I held various senior management roles, and for 8 years, I held executive roles as Vice President of Engineering and Global Vice President of Engineering. My experience included, but was not limited to, business planning, proposal preparation, contract negotiation, project planning and execution, project scheduling, and cost containment, just to name a few. Financially, I was responsible for the planning and execution of budgets ranging up to 100 million plus. It would be my pleasure to continue serving the community as a role in the board in whichever it is that the community and the board would choose for me to do so. I thank you for your time tonight and wish everyone, all of the candidates, the best of luck. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. Thank you so much. Next, we have Cindy Hendrickson. So Cindy, you have 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you, everybody. My name is Cindy Hendrickson, as Stephanie just said. I want to thank you for the opportunity to tell you a bit about myself. My fiance and I have lived in Champions Gate for almost 4 years. We rented one of the condos prior to purchasing our house on Downswing, and we are proud to tell people that we live here full-time in Champions Gate. As my bio states, and for those of you who haven't seen it, I've been involved in lease administration and property management for over 35 years. I'm currently employed by one of the largest commercial real estate companies in the United States, and I have been there for almost 20 years. Yeah, I'm not even going to say how old I am because that's just going to give it all away. I oversee the lease administration for the Southeast and Puerto Rico regions with the company. This includes reviewing monthly and annual billings, real estate tax invoicing, and utility invoicing. I also review lease language and contracts, both maintenance and commercial leases in general. I work directly with hundreds of tenants when they have a dispute, a question about their charges, a question about their accounts, etc. I feel that I'm well-rounded with my knowledge and experience and feel that I would be, excuse me, an asset to our board. I have previously served on an HOA board in Sanford, so I'm familiar with the good, bad, and the ugly. I do appreciate, though, as a few of you have already said, it's great that we have 10 candidates that are shooting for this. And I also feel that that is just a great attribute to our community. I believe that our golf course is very important to our community, and also understand that we have residents that don't golf. Although my fiance golfs, I am currently a non-golfer, but I'm starting to learn how to play because I enjoy spending the time outside, spending the time with the people that I've met here, and overall enjoy the Champions Gate environment that we provide. I'm sure that many of you have seen me at the plaza, the golf clubhouse, and the previous board meetings. My purpose for joining the board is to create a more cohesive and family-oriented atmosphere where the golfers and non-golfer families can feel associated with all of the great opportunities that we have to offer at Champions Gate. I'd like to implement better communication between the board, FSR, and the community, and to have every homeowner feel proud to own a home here. So far, I've received a lot of good feedback, and I appreciate the support that I received. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have Severio. So, Severio, you have 4 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Severio. My last name is Perugini, and I've been coming to the area since 2017, having owned a townhouse up on Florence Villa Grove. Moved into Fallen Oak in April of 2021. I spent about 7 months, play golf pretty much every day. And my reason for joining the board, I'm concerned about the long-term financial health of our club. It seems to me, and I may be wrong or have misinformation, that the system Lennar left us is not sustainable. And I'm concerned that we don't end up by the way of Stony Brook West. So I want to offer my help in making sure that we stabilize our finances. Now, I was born in Italy, moved to Connecticut in the late 50s, educated locally, earned a doctorate degree in mathematics from Columbia University, and served as a college mathematics teacher for 31 years. And I was we call it an academic coordinator, but it's the same role as a department chair for the last 12 years. Mainly, I want to stabilize the finances. That's what I'm concerned about. And I know someone else said that we're doing well on the finances, but I don't know. I don't see too many people on the tee sheet during the summer. So we'll see what happens at the end of the third quarter, but we must stabilize our finances so that the club could survive long term. And I thank you for this time, and I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have Neil Roberts.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me and the other candidates this evening. It is important that we have a strong board to take us through the next stage in our development, to make the most of the opportunities we have as a community and overcome the challenges ahead. I believe I have the knowledge, experience, and commitment to be part of that team. A little bit about me. I think most of you know me, but for those who don't, my name's Neil Roberts. I live in Country Club 3, or as it's more commonly known, Track K. Elaine, my wife, and I celebrated 40 years of marriage earlier this year, and we have 3 children, 2 beautiful grandchildren, all who live in the UK but are frequent visitors to us here in Florida. We've lived in Champions Gate for 8 years and played an active role in the community. I'm invested in making this the best possible place to live. I was elected to the first resident board after turnover from Lennar in August 2021 and was honoured to be the president for 2 years before stepping down in September 2023. Having taken the time out in the last 12 months, I'm now ready to revisit some of the challenges facing our community, bringing the experience I gained through my time on the board and chair of the turnover committee, plus 45 years in the financial services industry with JP Morgan Chase Bank. Being a board member requires a significant amount of time and dedication to be successful, and all board members need to have the commitment and flexibility to fulfill this role. I demonstrated my dedication to the role previously and will bring the same level of commitment and renewed enthusiasm if elected now. Enough about the history. What issues will I be focused on if elected? Firstly, and maybe the most important initiative from my perspective, is the pursuit of our claim against Lennar. Having led the team that reviewed and appointed Becker and Polyakov as our construction defect attorneys, as well as pulling together the materials required for our lawsuit, I would like to see this progress further and reach a successful outcome for the community. Secondly, finances are what keep the lights on, and so the budget is a crucial part of our responsibility as a board. We have to get this right. Having had many years' experience in building budgets and importantly managing performance against them, this is a key focus for me. Also, having worked with Alan, our treasurer, on previous country club budgets, I can bring that experience to bear as we work to compile the 2025 budget. Thirdly, as we reach the end of the initial term with our management company, it's important that we review the contract and the options available in 2025. Over the next 6 months, the board needs to evaluate and agree on a way forward to ensure improvement in the services that are provided. As I was involved in the prior evaluation and appointment of First Services, I believe I'm ideally placed to get the best outcome for the community. Whilst these priorities are ones that I can help progress, the way in which we approach them is not cast in stone, and I'm always flexible in considering other points of view. So in closing, I hope that provides an insight into my knowledge, my experience, and my commitment for the role. And I would like to thank all of you for your consideration and for listening to myself and all the candidates tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Next, we have Dan Metz. Dan, you have 4 minutes.
Hi. Thank you very much for what the other candidates have said, and it looks like we're all on the same wavelength with finances and that. My background, I moved to Champions Gate in June of this year. My background is I was the vice president and treasurer of the Waterstone HOA, which is located roughly about 2.5 miles away from Champions Gate, up near the Publix. And we basically had the same situation of turnover from our builder. In 2015 to 2018, we fought for taking over from Prime Management. We did receive this in November of 2018. From that point on, 2018 until current, I have been the vice president treasurer of the Waterstone HOA. I, like many others, I bring experience with the HOA, and budget has always been a key factor with me. We closed every year in the black, and it's always been looking for the future. However, we had it was 96 townhouses. We had a limited number of people that were willing to get involved with the board. My other background is I spent 26 years in the Army Reserve National Guard. I retired as a major. My civilian experience was I was in sales and management for over 2 decades for a supermarket company in Buffalo, New York. During the corporate downsize, I was decided to go back to college, and meanwhile picked up a maintenance job running the supervision factor at Damon College in Buffalo, New York for 3 years. I was involved with management of and maintenance for 27 buildings, and we had 22 people that worked on our staff. Upon getting my education, I wound up being a teacher in the public and private school for 20 years. I was school district business director in North Collins, New York, and also the Erie 2 BOCES, which is another school environment. I was the HR director. My education over 20 years while working and having supporting the families, I received a bachelor's or my associates in business management, my bachelor's in human resource development, became a certified business teacher, continued on to be getting my master's in school administration and school district leadership. The key factor that I had was developing the budgets back in for Waterstone HOA. I left Waterstone because we decided we got introduced to the Champions Gate community, and we fell in love with it. I'm married. I have 4 children and 8 grandchildren, and that's basically the whole thing. I left the Waterstone HOA with $127,000 in the reserves, and that's, again, we all seem to have the same interest. Okay, that's basically my background. Go ahead, Steph.
Okay, thank you so much, Dan. All right, last but not least, we have Billy Morgan. You have 4 minutes, Billy.
Okay, thank you. Hello, thank you for having this opportunity. My name's Billy Morgan. Tell you a little bit about myself. Been here almost 3 years with me and my wife. Live right up the street over in Track K, as Neil called it. I call it K Track. Right up the street from Neil. Um, which we really love the community. We both are active golfers and spend a lot of other time at the pool and enjoy the amenities of this community, and have actually have fallen in love with it. Uh, my background's basically I've been in automotive pretty much my whole, automation my entire life, in the industrial sector, a lot like Gene, pulp and paper, automotive, and currently I'm still working in logistics, where I'm a technical systems manager. Um, I'm highly knowledgeable in a lot of the mechanical and electrical construction bid processes, and also dealing with government agencies. Um, I've worked with admissions and wastewater permitting and things like that throughout my career. Also, as in management, I've managed multi-million dollar budgets within departments and managed up to 60 direct and indirect employees. Um, One thing that I've really picked up as my experience through the years, I've facilitated numerous problem solving activities, and that's something that Gene scratched the surface with, which is a very powerful tool. Um, some people know it as Six Sigma, and there's a lot of different ways to do it, but it's a lot of tools that you attack a problem, whether it's money related, time related, or flow related, and use a cross functional group of people and a set of tools to achieve a problem to put it into it. And one thing is, like I said, it's this very powerful tool, and that's something I'm very strong in, and would love to bring it to the board. I've been a member of several committees and fundraising activities throughout my career, and also in communities that I've been in golf communities I've been in, and other things. I have a degree in electrical engineering technology, and also management and organizational development. Um, I look forward to getting a chance to serve on the board. Uh, I know that I could make a difference. Like I said, I would be a diverse candidate, being one of the guys that still work, which we have a good group out here running, and I would like to think of all of them and thank the current and previous board members. And that's all I have, Stephanie.
All right, thank you so much, Billy. All right, that concludes the opening statement portion. So we did hear from all 10 candidates, their opening statements. So now we are going to reshuffle all of the names, and we will be picking candidate by candidate at random again. And each candidate this time will have 8 minutes to discuss their top 3 priorities as a board member and for the community. Okay, so we're going to pick our first. 8 minutes? Yeah, okay. All right, our first candidate is Severio. So, Severio, you have 8 minutes.
Well, hi, folks. I don't know if I'm going to need 8 minutes, and it's hard to put it down into 3 categories, but I'll got a few notes here, and I'll tell you what I'm been concerned about, and the people I play golf with have urged me to get involved. So one of the concerns, again, like I said before, is the financial health. It doesn't appear that the Lennar system that was left behind is sustainable. The next issue that is always on people's mind is public play. Although necessary evil, at times in the busy season, the residents don't seem to be able to get tee time availability, because the public gets 30 days in advance and we only get 14. And so I'd like to see that balanced off. Either everybody gets 14 or everybody gets 30. Another problem I see is, why can't we keep pro shop workers? We lost Chris twice. We lost Aurelia. We lost Joel. We lost Keith. These are all great workers and fantastic people. What's going on? Who's causing them havoc to make them leave? So we need to answer that. We need some stability. People like that I just enumerated, they were good workers. And any organization needs, well, financial strength, but also needs employee longevity. Another issue I have is with, I will hope to represent all the residents. I will try to utilize surveys to get the pulse of the community on various issues. It won't just be my opinion. It'll be the pulse of the community. Another issue I see is the two-rider trail fee. I think that needs to come back. There's not additional wear and tear on the course whether two people ride on the cart or one person rides on the cart. So I think that needs to come back because I think we lost revenue with that. A lot of people just bought one rider and then pays as you go because one spouse doesn't play enough. So that needs to be looked at again. And also, I like to see when a spouse on a two-riders trail fee plays in a different group, they shouldn't pay the full cart fee because they've already paid their seat on the other cart that's empty. There should be maybe a reduced rate for the spouse that plays in a different foursome. Other than that, I am knowledgeable in finances. As I said, in education, the money's always very tight. And I worked for 12 years as the coordinator of the math department, and many times had to make a square peg fit into a round hole or vice versa. But I will work tirelessly to stabilize the finances, the operations, keep the course beautiful as it is, and hopefully we can stabilize the staff in the pro shop so that when you walk in month to month, you're not meeting a new person every time. I thank you for your time and hope that my ideas could come to fruition.
All right, thank you, Severio. Thank you so much. Okay. Next up, we have John Lambert. Is it even worth me putting these up there? There you go, John Lambert.
I can see it. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thanks, John.
During this next segment, I'd like to list the top 3 priorities that our board will need to address, as well as outline the steps needed to be successful in achieving these goals. Collection of delinquent accounts. This was and still is a priority of our current board of directors. If we compare what is due today, $113,000, to that which was due 11 months ago, $165,000, solid progress has been made in collection of these past due amounts and reducing them by $52,000 or 31%. It is important for our board to continue addressing the collection of past due balances as a priority. This is important, obviously, for many reasons, as we as homeowners knowingly bought into a homeowner association community and share a reciprocal responsibility to help maintain the community to its highest level of standards so that we protect our investment and see our homes appreciate in value. Those that are delinquent have a balance due on their accounts are not fulfilling this responsibility, and in turn transfer this burden to those that understand and live up to their responsibility. Why does this matter? Each year, the board is responsible for developing a budget that will cover the necessary expenses to smoothly run the community, which is then used to calculate our monthly assessment payment. When assessments are not paid, it creates a shortfall in the available revenue that can theoretically negatively affect the necessary payments to cover our planned expenses. That's one of the main reasons why we need to make sure that we continue the collection of our delinquent accounts. The next is our management contract renewal. It's true, it's coming up as far as the end date or the last date of service per the contract is May 31st, 2025. This is very important. It's one of our largest expenses, and the board's has a responsibility to obtain bids to ensure we are receiving competitive pricing. Our current management agreement, like I mentioned, effectively ends May 31st, 2025. As time will be of the essence to meet the guidelines of our contract, a strict timeline will need to be developed and adhered to. With this in mind, to ensure that competitive bids are received, the process will need to begin no later than November 1st, 2024, and will need to follow 7 stages. Stage 1 will be the RFP creation. So that the board can properly conduct its due diligence, they will need to develop a request for proposal, or RFP, for both the management services of our community as well as our golf operation services. Each RFP must outline both the association's needs and expectations for each of these services in order to obtain a thorough proposal. The development of an RFP will typically take 30 days to prepare and fully vet out to ensure that our requirements and expectations are clearly noted on each RFP. Simultaneously during this process, we will need to identify potential management services companies as well as golf operation management companies so that we can submit proposals to them and receive their responses. Stage 2 would be the RFP finalization and distribution. No later than December 1st, the RFPs will need to be finalized so they can be sent to the appropriate firms that were selected with a submittal due date back to the board. Stage 3 would be the RFP submittal due date. All proposals would need to be received by the board no later than January 8th. This will allow time for the board to compare the bids received and determine which finalists best meet the criteria of the RFP so that interviews can be scheduled. Stage 4 would be firm interviews. Interviews must be scheduled to begin no later than January 22nd and conclude no later than February 7th. We move on to stage 5 from there for the board review and firm selection. The board will then need to determine which firm or firms they wish to proceed with into negotiations. Stage 6 would be the negotiation and contract signing. Negotiations must begin no later than February 10th and include not only the monthly management fee, term and services provided by the selected firm or firms, along with the association's expectations, but also all additional ancillary charges, such as fees for payment handling, technology, year-end financial reports, vendor 1099 forms, payroll, and system technology costs. This is just a few of the various items that need to be included in that negotiation. The negotiation process needs to be concluded and contract finalized and signed no later than February 24th. And the final stage would be the non-renewal notification. In section 2.3a, term and termination, it states that should either party choose not to automatically extend it for another year, they will provide written notice of their intent to terminate at least 90 days prior to the expiration of the initial term. As per this contract, the association must notify of its intent not to renew no later than February 28th. This time frame is necessary as per our contract. The association is required to provide a 90-day notice of non-renewal prior to March 1st, 2025. This holds true even if our current management company is our chosen selection negotiation as a result of the new proposal that they presented and was negotiated through. My third priority would be the defect lawsuit. This must also, again, obviously be a priority for the board. There will be a number of hurdles that the association will encounter. Over the next several months, we can expect a great deal of activity in regard to providing additional documentation, paperwork review, and the need for board approvals in order for process to continue to move forward. What I can tell you is this: having been the president of an association that filed its own defect lawsuit against the developer, which led to a successful outcome, this is the beginning phase that will be a long, tenuous process. What we can expect along the way will be continuous delays by the defendant, requests for additional documentation, several mediations with the defendant, which will more than likely not lead to an agreement. And this will then lead to additional delays as the defendant will likely need to identify all of the contractors that perform the work that it was identified in the defect case and request that they contact their insurance companies so that they can assign counsel to provide their defense. Additional mediation will then need to be scheduled in hopes of coming to a settlement, which will take time. Ultimately, the board needs to be prepared for this and to realistically set goals as to what they wish to achieve, as the likely outcome, if this would go to court, may not be as favorable as a potential settlement. Thank you again for the opportunity to share my 3 priorities.
Okay, thank you, John. Thank you. Next, we have Billy Morgan. So Billy, you do have 8 minutes.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm going to go over my top three priorities I see. Uh, the number one thing is budget management, including becoming more profitable. I'll get a little bit more deeper in that, and transparent about the budget. And I'm going to be clear. I understand we're an amenities community, so profitable sometimes is not really what profitability means, like maybe in your normal business, but it's more of good, sound financial decisions for the community, and also uh, being more um open to options that are good, sound financial decisions. Make sure it's clearly published and everyone understands the budget. Um, Use activities as continuous improvement through cross-functional groups within our neighborhood. So we get not so much committees, but groups that put forth things, cross-saving out activities or profitability activities where we have buy-in throughout the community would help. Also, as we're looking at activities, trial them out, do a session where you plan them out, you have activities, you plan them, you check them, and you make sure that things are working correctly, and that before we initiate a full scale of these. One other thing throughout the community too is planning preventive measures throughout. It could be as small of things as we look at the things that pop up on the community boards of say the pool heater. Maybe look at the life expectancy of that, and plan out things to make us, the purchase of a pool heater or something like that. Is that for our amenities? Is that going to carry out more? Uh, a better activity than just knowing that it's, hey, we're waiting for a part, it's going to be down for 3 months, things like that. Good planning on preventive measures, and also offsetting costs with activities maybe in the slow times of the year. I know Lisa said we spoke for about an hour the other evening on 18, and Sergio had brought up some activities too. Maybe in the summertime that we could do some activities to generate some costs that would also um, put more money in the budget. So maybe we'd have more free tea times in those in the busy seasons in the winter times. And also throughout having setting your goals. What do we want to achieve through the years? What do we, have good points that we're going to go after instead of trying to hit a moving target. So really, that's budget management is probably number one. Number two is I know that we have some portals out there, but one way for our residents to have one portal that we can access everything that we need to access. So either if it's going in and putting in uh, a landscape work order, um, where we can make our payments to all the master and the HOA in one spot, or have links to it anyway, and more user friendly community information, um, and have that out there. And I think that's I see some of the same questions that come up throughout on those community boards of, the same questions come over and over. And if we had one good portal that, and I know we have them out there, but just maybe have some beta tests within, and check and make sure that's what we have. And another thing is, like I said, I go back to is using your cross-functional groups within the community to solve some problems. That's one thing. It could be it could be a small problem that you take a group, facilitate a group, use the tools it takes to solve the problem. And then whenever it puts forward to the board or whatever we do, if we move forward with it, you have buy-in within the community. It's not the board's decision. It was a lot of different people. It could have that's a part of the problem solving. And I think that's where we all grow together. We know that I've listened to the candidates speak tonight, and everybody's on the same page. Everybody wants the Champions Gate to be viable and hold its value within our investments within the community. And one thing is from being involved in a lot of cost savings activities throughout my career. and just my diversity of being able to do a lot of different things. I know that I could help the board, and I would serve my time and hope to leave some good tools behind, and move along uh, to to hope make things better here in Champions Gate. And that's it for me, Stephanie.
Okay, thank you so much, Billy. Next up, we have Liesel. So Liesel, you have 8 minutes.
Thanks, Stephanie. When we got the when we got the format of the meeting last night, and they asked for three priorities, not that I struggled, but there are a lot. But my first one is, we're very lucky to be in a community where we actually own these assets. Most communities around here that have golf courses, the homeowners don't own them. So they're at the whim of whoever owns them. But we are very, very lucky in that we own both the Plaza Clubhouse and the golf course. So those assets are two assets that have to be nurtured, and they have to be looked after to maximize their efficiencies. I personally, and I may lose some votes here, and I do, well, if I do, I do. We have to be honest. I feel that FSR as a management company are not a good fit for us. I would not have hired a management company to run a golf community that has never, to the best of my knowledge, run a golf community. You have to run in a golf community. You have to appreciate golf. You have to appreciate the tee sheet. You have to appreciate how golfers think. And I don't think FSR have that. And I think that would be my biggest priority, is the finding a better fit that'll fit us. And we should be finding a management company that fit us, not for us to fit them. It's tail and dog here, and we have to remember that. As I said, we're so lucky we live in such a fantastic community with such amazing amenities, and to maximize them, you have to look after them, and that would be my main priority. I have been asked about different things with regard to the golf. I will say, as I said to you earlier on, I'm not a golfer. I go out and I play, I enjoy it, but I do love the atmosphere up there. I'm a big supporter of the club. But I do not have the ability to go out and play to single handicaps. But anyway, that doesn't stop me going out and playing. People have asked me about the trail fees and the outside pass holders. And what I will say is, I'm not fudging it, but I would need to look at the numbers before I give somebody a definitive answer on that. But I can give a definitive answer on another question I've been asked a lot, which is about the leagues. I come from a sporting family. My dad, God rest him, was a tennis and badminton coach. Very, very good golfer. My sister's a PGA pro. My brother-in-law's a PGA pro. I have been involved in sports clubs since I could walk. And every sports club I've ever been involved in has had leagues. To me, the main point of a league is to get people involved in said club, whether it's pickleball, tennis, badminton, golf, bocce, whatever it is. It's a way of getting people involved. Not everybody is of the mindset that they could walk up to somebody at the golf grill, sitting down having a beer, and say, can I join your 4-ball next week, or can I join your 3-ball? Whereas the league will bring people in and allow them to meet their neighbours, get involved, and give a structure. So I am a huge advocate of leagues and I know people say it takes out tee times. The people that are playing in the leagues are members, and they are as entitled to tee times as anybody else. So I just feel that leagues, whether it's pickleball, tennis, golf, they add to the community, and they make us better. Okay. The second priority I have, and I do not have any children. I know you all have grandchildren, all, and it's great. I have no children, but I would like to see more teens and children getting involved in the community. We should have a golf clinic on a Saturday morning for the kids. The lads go out at 8:30 if they're playing the league, so they're gone by 8:20 out of their holes. So from 8:30 to 9:30, it's quiet up there. So that would be an ideal time to have a teenagers clinic or a kiddies clinic. We have lots of really good pickleball players here. Could we set up some sort of league? Children are part of the community, and we have to include them as much as us. And you may have families here that have never played golf, but the kids could end up being really good golfers. So I just think that we need to start looking a little bit wider and maybe including more and more of these coaching things and things like that for the kids and for the young families. Because don't forget, there is only a small percentage of people here that play golf, but there are lots of people that play pickleball. There's lots of people that play tennis. So from that point of view, that's something that I think we should look at. And then the third thing we should look at, and I pull on my experience in Highlands for this, it's very important to look at what's happening outside the county as how it's going to affect our community in a couple of years' time. I had a chat with Mark Louster this morning about this. Many of you may have seen Mark's post there where he put up the post about the proposed new development going up at the side of Bellasita and Goodman. And while we're not going to be looking at that development, but we are going to be fighting the traffic in that development. So it's very important that we get involved in what's going on outside the community because it has a knock-on effect to what we are and what happens inside. Tomorrow evening, there's a meeting in the Westside K8 school. It's a planning review and a zoning change review meeting. And I think everybody should go. And when we were in Highlands, we had an issue whereby a piece of land at the back that was owned by a developer, but had been left sit into conservation land for a long, long time. And he decided he was going to build multifamily housing. So you had a situation whereby 10 feet away from people's pool decks, it was going to be multifamily housing. With the HOA, we got involved, we got an attorney, and we had 2 busloads of people that went down to the BOCC meetings. We went to 2 meetings, and don't forget, these guys, I don't have a vote, I only have a green card, so I don't really have a dog in the fight when it comes to voting. But I do know that these BOCC guys, they're depending on you to put them into their position. So people power actually is really important. So if there's something going on outside that's going to affect us later, everybody here has been talking about what's happening inside the community, so I know it's going to be in good hands, whoever gets elected. But we also need to look outside as well. So they're my things. I mean, I look, as I said, I love the place. I love the golf club. I get involved. You'll see me up at the plaza. You see me, at the golf club. You'll see me at the scrambles giving out whiskey when I'm not supposed to be. But anyway, and I'll just say to you, whoever gets elected, I hope, I hope to take that into account. And please bear in mind that not just the adults, we need to start, encouraging the juniors here, because we had Sam Horsfield in Highlands. In Highlands, we actually we didn't own the golf course; it was always independently owned. But they actually made their Sam's tee boxes, so they were like 8 or 9 feet back from the white tees or the gold tees, the really long ones. So nurturing the juniors is going to help the community too. And think about it, if you have juniors coming and playing regularly, then parents might decide that they want to come, and next month, before you know, we've got more people living here. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to use my 8 minutes because somebody said to me, actually, I should talk slowly. I actually was going to ask for closed captioning because most people probably can't understand my Irish accent anyway. But anybody who's any problems around, then just give me a shout. I'm quite happy to have a chat with you slowly. Thanks, Daphne.
All right, thank you so much, Liesl. Next up, we have Neil Roberts. So Neil, you have 8 minutes.
Thank you, Stephanie. As mentioned briefly in my opening remarks, apart from the day-to-day tasks of the board, I see my 3 main priorities as follows. Similar to John, the Lennar lawsuit. Let me say that the update that was provided by James at the last board meeting was useful in understanding certain elements of our claim. However, I do have some questions about various aspects of the lawsuit, particularly the piece relating to the Oasis Club membership fee charged by Lennar. The successful claim made by a Solavita resident against their developer, who had set up a similar structure in their community, should improve our claim's chance of success with the legal precedents that are in place. As such, as I led the initial project to engage the construction defect attorney, the engineers who performed the initial review of our property whilst chair of the turnover committee, I feel that I'm ideally placed to work with the attorney to progress our claims. My second priority, and these are in no particular order of preference, is the 2025 budget. Firstly, I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the work that Alan Westerman has done and continues to do as our treasurer. Like the Lennar lawsuit, I believe that my background in finance and previous board experience will allow me to help our treasurer during this important time of drafting the 2025 budget, as well as managing the ongoing day-to-day finances of our community. In reviewing the July 2024 year-to-date financials, whilst it portrays a positive overall position, we need to understand that we are now in the low season for golf, which, aside from our HOA assessments, is our main generator of revenues. As such, August and September numbers will not be as rosy, likely resulting in lower income, whereas expenses remain fairly static. In order for us to minimize increases in our HOA assessments, it is important that we maximize our revenue generating areas, which are unfortunately limited to golf and to a much lesser extent food and beverage. Let me be clear on my position with regards to golf. I am not in favour of fully privatising our course, as I believe that a balanced mix between public and member play is our best option to minimising increases in assessments. Currently, public play generates upwards of $1.7 million a year in revenue, which equates to a minimum of $1,800 per home that would need to be covered if this income stream disappeared. There may be some savings, but as most of our expenses are fixed, this would be minimal. As such, it's important for us to recognise that at most, only 30% of our community of 937 homes utilises the golf facility, and that we need to cater for the whole community, providing a lifestyle living in which golf, whilst an important part, is but a part. I know that available tee times is a concern with many of you, and so if elected, it is my intention to work with the First Services golf team to manage public play in a way that ensures members have access to the relevant tee times. In addition, work with the leagues to find a mutually agreeable balance of weekly play. The Saturdays Men's League have already offered alternative structures, but I feel these were never fully implemented. I believe that I have the experience, commitment and dedication to creating a 2025 budget that works for all of the community. And my third priority is the management company contract review, as John mentioned. The 3-year contract that we negotiated with First Services is up for review in 2025, and so it's important that we explore our options. I'm not suggesting we change the management company, and having gone through the pain of doing this once, it's not something we should consider lightly. But as we go into negotiations with First Services, it's important that we are fully informed as to the alternative services available and where we would need to focus on improvements. Having been actively involved in the prior negotiations and the challenges of moving from one management company to another, I think my experience will help in these discussions to ensure that we get the best deal for our community. Whilst these priorities are ones that I can help progress and deliver, I am always flexible in considering other points of view. In closing, thank you for listening and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have Dan Metz.
Well, after listening to all the conversations so far, I'm opening up my eyes to a lot of things going on in the community. However, what I feel is that being an HOA member, which I've done for the last 6 years, is being available to the other owners on a 24/7 situation, that they can email or text me at any time, and I would answer back any call within 24 hours. Okay. I think it's important that the HOA members are visible in the community and people realize that they're not walking around looking for trouble all the time and getting in everyone's business, but being there when an issue comes about, which many has already tonight. My second priority is, which I'm coming from another HOA, new member to this one, is making sure that the community is totally involved with the HOA. Encourage them to attend meetings, which is the most important thing. In our past, we've been lucky if we had 3 or 4 owners that would show up. I was impressed when I attended the meeting and also listened to one of the meetings on Go2. And I was quite impressed with the amount of people that were there at the meeting. However, I think more are encouraged to join. I also think that we all have the same goal, is to make sure that Champions Gate develops a stronger uh, community association. And what I mean by that is where the owners are involved. I have gone through the changeover of going from one management company to another in our time of running an HOA. It is a nightmare. Okay. And I think that what I found out was working very close with our CAM, there was never a problem. And I was constantly in contact with the management company, with budgeting and everything else. It's a team effect. Okay. They work for us, and it's up to us to direct and give them the guidance. Lastly, I'm quite concerned about the lawsuit. After going through this with ourselves, against Prime Management Corporation, they had the same situation in which we had to fight for our clubhouse and the amenity of the pool. And it wasn't until after the lawsuit was solved with Salavita that this management company, or this owner, was starting to say, okay, we'll possibly sell the clubhouse to you for a certain price, but they wanted to have it closed within 30 days. They backed out, and it took us almost 6 months later to get that clubhouse under our jurisdiction, which I found that after listening to John and James at the last meeting, it opened up my ears, and I said, wow, we're in the same situation here. If I'm not elected to the board, I offer my support to John and James, or whoever's involved with that lawsuit, to assist and be part of that committee. Those are my priorities right now. And the only other thing I can say that was brought up was when it was talked about accounts receivable, as John has talked about, being is very important. We ran roughly about $18,000 a month in accounts receivable, and it took 3 years to put a foreclosure on one of our properties, in which all of a sudden we started getting some actions to pay. Okay, so I support a lot of things that the current board is doing. That's basically my priorities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dan. Next we have James Stone. So James, you have 8 minutes.
As a current board member, I know firsthand that there are numerous items that the board deals with on a monthly basis, but we have to talk about only 3 this evening. So my top 3 priorities are golf operations, as this is our single largest revenue generator. Secondly, the Lennar deficiencies lawsuit, as it represents the single largest financial impact to our community. And lastly, our management contract, as our management team affects our daily lives. Our golf club has been and continues to be one of the most talked about issues within our community. Just look tonight. Our golf club is both an amenity and a business, and we must operate it in a manner that meets each of these unique demands. Tonight, I want to leave you with 2 numbers. The first is $300,000, as this is the amount of revenue that golf missed the 2023 budget by. However, that $300,000 number is also the expected amount by which 2024 golf revenue will exceed 2023 golf revenue. Let that resonate for a moment and digest the magnitude of that turnaround. As most of you will remember, there were concerns and questions about the change in business model to the one of more public play and less annual pass holders, that would cause further financial deterioration. What should surprise no one is that we make more money per round with these a la carte public play rounds than any other revenue source. In fact, our dynamic pricing strategy, while generating $39 in the summer heat during maintenance week, will also see $179 and higher in February. It's simple supply and demand economics. The other number I want you to remember is 40,000. This represents the approximate annual number of rounds historically played at our golf club, and 2024 will be no different. We must delicately balance member rounds and public rounds as the reality of our golf club being both an amenity and a business. Although we will have approximately the same number of annual total rounds in the past year as we have in the other years, this year our revenue will be 20% higher. Obviously, this is very beneficial to the HOA. It indicates that this business model is working. That same 40,000 number is also the approximate amount that our golf grill in 2024 will exceed 2023 revenues. That is because, folks, these items are intertwined. As you change one item of the budget or of operations, it affects something else. We must nurture that. But what can we do in 2025 to make us better? To further increase our financial results, we have increased our 2025 per round pricing with our preferred wholesaler companies. In mid-September, we will launch a pay in advance policy for all public play to protect the HOA from lost revenue due to no-shows. In addition, all of outstanding golf events now require a signed contract outlining the number of players, the price per player, and their food and beverage minimum requirement spend. In summary, this change in business model continues to improve the financial health of our golf club and HOA. My next priority is the 558 claim against Lennar, which will be the single largest financial impact to our community. This lawsuit deals with all of the construction defects and deficiencies and numerous false promises by Lennar. This is a multi-million-dollar lawsuit and must receive our unwavering attention. It is a complex and very detailed-oriented process, as has been said this evening already. It encompasses our entire community, and as I outlined in our last board meeting, we have already commenced identifying, tracking, and documenting all of the components to protect the HOA. The more complicated and evolving part of our claim is the Oasis Club. Based upon recent case law, the Avatar Properties case, about half of the fees we pay to the Oasis Club, i.e. the membership fee, is not legally allowed. In our lawsuit, we are seeking to have future payments by homeowners reduced by $600 a year. In addition, the ruling in the Avatar case was that the developer had to make a lump sum payment for all money collected under the membership component. Again, in our community, that's going to amount to about $2 million. Obviously, there is still a lot of work to be done on this item, and the process will pick up immensely in the coming months. It will require a full commitment to seeing this through to fruition. I am well versed and am prepared to dedicate the time and energy to resolve this for the community. My last priority to discuss this evening is our HOA management contract, as this item has the largest impact on our daily lives. Our current contract with FSR expires on May 31st, 2025. Therefore, the next board will have the responsibility for determining the details of our management contract and ultimately selecting who will be our management firm. This decision is very important because I, like many of you, believe that our management contract is the single most important contract we have. For most of us, our management company, FSR, is the food and beverage staff we see regularly at the plaza. Or maybe it's our incredible golf crew that we see in the maintenance department. Regardless how each of us defines the management company, their work materially impacts our community. Given the importance of our management firm and the far-reaching impact on our daily lives, my approach is to proceed cautiously and thoughtfully. I believe that when any of our service contracts expire, we should perform a detailed financial analysis, and our contract with our management firm is no different. It is imperative that we define our service parameters and clearly outline our expectations. This will ultimately form the basis for the board to develop a request for proposals. Our ultimate goal must be to enhance resident experience while ensuring operational efficiency, financial integrity, and a strong, cohesive team. The RFP should be disseminated to pre-qualified potential management companies. This will allow us to fully compare and contrast the various options and understand the true cost and benefits of each potential suitor. By implementing this approach, we are able to assess if a management company is aligned with our community and is able to meet our diverse and unique needs. Well, we are one of the largest HOAs in the state of Florida, with numerous amenities, so the number of qualified management companies that can service our community is relatively small. Our management company must be a strategic fit for our community and be best in class. Given the importance of our management company to the overall health of our community, it is imperative that we undertake this initiative and it be done in an open manner to all homeowners. But I want to be clear, I am not proposing at this point that you get rid of FSR. I think you consider your options. And at that point, you make an informed decision and weigh all the costs and benefits to make the decision that is in the best interest of the HOA. In conclusion, there are numerous other initiatives, but the aforementioned represent my top 3 priorities. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you so much, James. Next we have Clarence. Clarence, you have 8 minutes.
Hey, thank you, Stephanie. Goals and priorities, I guess the golf course is the big one. For me, I'd like to see us reestablish revenue based on more fixed income. Fixed income would be more fast pass holders and increase the number of members, again, paying a trail fee that's more fair to everyone here. I'm not so happy with just variable income. We certainly need the variable income from the daily fee golfers, but I think it needs to be managed better. And we've probably got to look at actually what we charge. The charges on the summer, maybe it generated from revenue, but I'm not sure. I seen the course get beat up quite a bit. So there were higher maintenance costs too. So I'm not sure how that went. From a standpoint of the actual management company, certainly the financial side is the number one. But certainly, are we giving them the proper achievable and manageable goals? How do we judge their performance and how do we make adjustments as we go forward and as required? I mean, basically, we should be managing by objectives. And if we can't do that, we're missing a boat. And that's it, Stephanie. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Clarence. Next we have Jean Walkery. You have 8 minutes, Jean.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. Like a lot of others, my need to run for the board was financially motivated. So I can break it into 3 items, be from golf, money that's owed to us, and from the plaza. In the golf area, I'd like to see us reduce costs and increase income. And starting with one thing that I think we need to do off the bat is more timely financial data. I was told it's 45 days to get the previous period's information, which seems way too long, unacceptable, and you can't make decisions and change things quick enough to stop from losing money if you don't have that information. The other thing I'd like to see is analysis of last year's changes to see what we've done, how it's come out, what we need to do to make adjustments, what the data shows. One thing I'm missing is there's a lot of data I know that's available from 4Ts and Salesforce that I can't see. So getting into the board, I could get into some of that information, and I'm an expert at slicing and dicing information, so I could, make some better calls on what needs to be done, if anything, or how we're doing, where the opportunities are. I think we have to look into what's the proper mix of the outside memberships versus and outside tee times. I like what we've done already, getting more of those outside tee times, yet we've still been able to get our tee time. I have personally been able to get the tee times I'm looking for, so I've heard others say they aren't, but I'd like to hear more about that when it happens, what we can do about it in those areas. Let's see, I'd like to relook at the trail fee situation. I know we made a major change there. I want to see the numbers and sliced there and see, what did we actually do increase and what went down, and make a decision if any corrections are needed there. And then I want to see us fully utilize the 4Ts and the Yellow Dog software that we put in. There's still some features we haven't implemented, like the online ordering, which could help to cut down on the calls to the plaza, and it could also help in the golf course with people ordering ahead of time as they're on the course and picking up things at the turn to get more income, and also taking advantage of the beverage card automation to where they can run your credit card right at the cart. Last time I was out there, they weren't able to do that. I don't know if they've been working on it. Don't know what's the holdup, but hopefully we can get that operational. And then the last thing, just from my experience, oh no, there's a couple more. Investigating the credit process we use of putting credits in, because we've seen some mistakes happening. Just like to see if there's a gap there of something that's going on that causes credits to be given to people that aren't deserved. I know we need to still market our golf course. We've made some good inroads in that. People are getting more visibility of our course. It comes up first when you search on Golf Now right now, just because we have a great rate going on for the summer. But that's good marketing there. People see our course name and start learning about us, maybe try it out and find out it's good, and we'll come back when it's more expensive too. And another thing that's been brought up that would be worth looking into is some expansion to the golf facility, and making more money-making opportunities to bring people in from the outside for events. Just one that came up recently for me was they stopped having karaoke at a local bar. And I thought, well, people from outside the community can come to the golf course. If we had karaoke there, it would bring people in to spend money. And if the place was bigger, we can hold bigger events too. So look at the cost benefit analysis of that. I think that's pretty much it for that item. The second issue, I'm looking at getting the money owed to us, like others have mentioned, on the legal areas, the Lennar lawsuit, as well as the other one that was mentioned about at the last meeting about the Oasis costs, whether they can really charge us for things even if the Oasis shuts down, what opportunities we have to look into reducing costs that we have to pay out on the Oasis HOA fees, if that's possible. And of course, getting the unpaid dues and the unpaid plaza bills. We made some headway, but there's still more to go. Let's keep working on that. That's important. Money in our pocket, more money we're owed already. The last area I'd go for is the plaza, what we can do there to raise money. The big thing there is we need foot traffic. We need people coming into the plaza. There's weekends when there's no events, there's no people, nobody around. How do you make any money? How do you keep things going? Do you lose food because of that? It's something you got to look into. So we should have activities every weekend. There's activities you can do that don't cost any money, like just playing a theme night of music, playing music videos. Karaoke, you can do it yourself with our lifestyle director. You can do trivia yourself with lifestyle director. That's the other thing. Lifestyle director should be a job that's afternoon shift and on the weekends included, because that person needs to be there pushing that time, because that's the big money maker when you get people coming in on the weekends. We got to investigate whether the purchase plaza card system is working. That's a good idea to bring more people in, get more spending. See if there's anything we can do to help that out. Let's see. We also need to look into making sure the servers are going down to the pool and taking care of those people there. I know there's some that are pretty good about it, but others that you never see. And that's lost income if you're not down there helping out those people get some orders. And then the other main thing is surveying the community. The tools that are out there to create a survey are so nice. We need to take advantage of people have good ideas. They want to be heard. Let's ask them what new ideas they have, ask their opinion of ideas we have, and then look into maybe making use of the informal groups that have gotten together to come up with ideas, and then possibly even make a plaza committee, to get them put together, looking at ideas to bring in traffic and increase income and use of the plaza. I think that covers the three main areas. Of course, they're all financially motivated, like I said, and I think I could help do a good job of digging through that data and finding out where we can make changes that should increase our income or reduce costs. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Jean. And last but not least, we have Cindy. So Cindy, you have 8 minutes.
Thank you. I think that my priorities are kind of all grouped together. I'm not saying that's the best way, but I think overall financial stability, the golf revenue, and the management contract. There are lots of different topics I think that could be added to that, but I'm trying to pick like the top three. I know that since I've only been here, so to speak, for the 4 years, some people consider me still a new resident, but I want to find out how everything works. And one of the things that I've heard and I feel that I agree with is the lack of communication between the board and the residents. We need better communication, and I've had many, many residents express this same concern, and I think we're all a little frustrated with some of the lack of communication. I don't mean that we need to have more emails. No offense, Stephanie, we appreciate everything. But I think that we need to have more concise information to get the community involved. I want to understand how the communication between the golf pro, the golf shop, the board, and the management company works as well. I have had discussions with the previous golf pros and staffs, and they have all expressed concern over how things were handled by both the board members and the non-board members. And I think that we need to figure out what's going on so we can help them and make it just an overall good experience for everybody. And I think that that will help the community. Because again, if you're a golfer or you're not a golfer, the golf is a very important part of our community. And we need to have a better understanding of how this works so we can ensure a profitable and healthy environment. This would include the 4 T's, the tee times in general, fair tee times for members and the public, all of that. I think that I believe that our financial stability is very important. And I also have some ideas that may increase the revenue with the golf community. I feel that I have an empathetic disposition and I'm willing to listen to the homeowners and want to hear your concerns. I understand that no board, as much as we would like it, is going to make 100% of the community happy. However, the majority of the homeowners need to be taken into consideration prior to decisions being made by the board. I feel that it's a responsibility of the board to keep the lines of communication open between them and the homeowners. I'm not faulting anybody. I'm not saying that that hasn't previously been done. I'm merely saying it doesn't appear that the majority as a whole has fully taken into consideration at all times. I think we want our property values to increase and not have the HOA fees increase as much as they did for 2024. I feel that there is possibly some financial decisions previously that were made that were not in the best interest of the majority of the homeowners. Again, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying that the board members need to not only listen to the homeowners, but they need to also do their own research and fact finding so they can make an informed decision before voting on an issue, especially with decisions that increase the HOA fees or, financial, which is, as we're all saying, is a very important situation that we need to address. Regarding the management contract, whoever is on the board, we need to spend the time to diligently review the RFPs and to choose a management company that works for us and with us. The research needs to be done. Whoever is on the board, they need to spend the time and make sure that we have the best fit for our community. I'm not saying that we automatically need to change management companies. I'm just saying that we all need to do the homework so we can find the best fit. And thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you so much, Cindy. All right, folks, we are going to go to the third and final segment of our Meet the Candidates event, which is where each candidate will once again be chosen at random, and they will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. So we're going to go ahead and pick our first person. Okay. We have Daniel Metz. Dan Metz. So Dan, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, real simple. My background, which I talked about being in the military, being in education and all this stuff, being involved with another HOA, going through what you have gone through with the ownership by the builder, fighting for turnover, having a clubhouse that we found out we were paying dues for that we didn't own up until 2022. I see a lot of the similarities. It's obvious that the current board has a good knowledge of what's going on with this 558, and I'm very positive with their decisions so far in the action. It is a long process. It took us 5 years to get it solved. Being a member of the Army Reserve National Guard, I've had opportunities being activated in the States, okay, and a number of times. I spent 26 years in the National Guard Reserves, okay, going from enlisted into officer candidate and to retired as a major. I've been active in my parish community for 45 years. And I'm also a lifelong learner. Since I was on the board, I took the CAM course so that I had a general idea of what to expect and what not to expect when we were looking for a management company. I attended the board certification course through Campbell Management, listened and participated in numerous webinars from Tannenbaum, Lamall, Hall, and Campbell Management Companies. One thing I've found out in all these years is that we can sit back and just wait and just point fingers, or we can be actively involved with their community. My background is service. I've been involved with the past with the old community, and I'm looking forward to being involved, either active or just a non-board member in the Champion Gate HOA community. You will see me at your board meetings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan. I was about to give you time. Thank you. Okay, we have Billy Morgan. Billy, you have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Thank you, Stephanie. Uh, One thing I would like to say in closing, I'd like to thank everyone. One thing that I would like to say in closing also, we've all got to remember this is our community. Um, it should be in all of our best interest. And we have a lot of diverse residents out here. I believe so brought it to light that we have people with children. We have part-time residents here, so we've got to make sure that we are representing everybody. And I would have no problem at all doing that. Another thing is, several people said when we do the RFP for the new management group or the existing one, whoever gets it, it's got to be goals and objectives in there that we want as a community, and we should have some say so. Um, Several have said this too. Also, the data's out there. Like Gene, I'm very good at drilling down in the data and looking at the losses. That's what I do every day, and I would have no problem whatsoever doing that. Uh, One thing is, like I've really harped on the whole time, is these focus groups and having people involved in here. That's one thing, is when we're all getting involved. You don't have just the board. Everybody should be involved and have a say so. And when you do these focus groups, you're going to have buy-in because everybody's got skin in it and they feel like they're participating in it. So um, that's uh, that's what my big issues. And like I said, I would like to thank everybody too that's done this, because we all know how good the pay is. So that's that's why we're doing it. No, so it's a volunteer, and I would like to thank everybody that's had their time in this tonight. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Billy. Next up, we have Jean. Jean, you have 2 minutes.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. Well, the first thing I like to start with is I'm retired. I'm on a fixed income. I want to stay in this community. So my big motivation was to get in there and help keep costs down and make sure I stay here as long as I possibly can, because I love it here. And like I said, I love to analyze data. I'd love to be able to get in there and find the data and find the things that'll help make this community better, cheaper, and bring in more income. I want to make sure I take into consideration all the needs of the community. I know I have lots of friends that are golfers, lots of friends that are non-golfers. I've heard both sides of needs, and they span a whole gamut of things. We have a lot of great assets here. The golf course is our best asset, of course, and the leagues are what makes it so popular. But we have twice as many non-golfers as golfers, so we really can't neglect the plaza, the gym, the North Pool, pickleball. So we have to keep our eyes on everything and focus on what's going to make us the most money and keep the costs down too. I volunteered for both the Gulf and Plaza operations to help out. So I've been involved. I've attended board meetings and committee meetings. I've helped co-lead the 4Ts implementation in the Yellow Dog. And with all the information I pulled in from my friends, I've collected a lot of ideas that I'm ready to bring up and see what we can do to help bring us along. So basically, I feel, and I hope you agree, that I have the time and the knowledge and the skills and the dedication to be an effective board member. I guess that's my position. Thanks for listening. Good luck to all the candidates and have a good night.
Thank you so much, Jean. Thank you. Okay, next up we have Liesl. Liesl, you have 2 minutes.
Thanks, Stephanie. I want to thank this. We've had 60 and 70 people on here for the last 2.5 hours, and I'd like to thank all the homeowners that have actually sat and listened to us. It's much appreciated. I'm sure you're looking for a glass of wine and your dinner. Very well deserved at this stage. I'd like to thank my fellow candidates. I think whatever happens, I think the community is going to be in good hands. I think that people who are running for the board, we all want the same thing. We all love this community, we appreciate it, and I honestly think we're in good hands. And I think the fact that you have 10 candidates running is a huge testament to this community. There are so many positives with Champions Gate. They far outweigh the negatives. And I think that's something that we shouldn't lose sight of. The people are what make Champions Gate. And I think that we should be very thankful for all the homeowners that have listened in for us tonight. Now here's my sales pitch, because I'm a saleswoman. Anybody who liked what I said, give me a vote. If you don't, not a problem. I'll still talk to you in the plaza. You can still laugh at me on the driving range. But I'm just very privileged to be part of this group tonight. I'm very, very happy to be living here, and I think I can only see good things happening to this community. So have a very nice evening, everybody, and enjoy that glass of wine.
Thank you, Liesl. Okay, next up we have John Lambert. John, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Stephanie. In conclusion, as an HOA board member, your actions have significant impact on the community's well-being. Our articles of incorporation establish us as a nonprofit corporation, and our board members are volunteers, and thus should follow corporate law, which means that our HOA board of directors have a fiduciary duty to the community. What are the fiduciary duties of a board member? The fiduciary duty of an HOA board member has 3 components: duty of loyalty, duty of care, and duty to act within the scope of authority. Since moving into Champions Gate Country Club, many owners have shared that in years past, the operation of the community has been a rinse and repeat mindset, which in all honesty does not fall within the fiduciary duties noted above. But this has changed this past year and is met with success. In my viewpoint, the board needs to maintain this forward-thinking mentality and process by continuing to bring fresh solutions-oriented ideas to address our short and long-term needs as a community. It is my goal, in whichever role as a member of the board of directors I am fortunate enough to serve our community in, will be to continue this forward movement for the benefit and success of our community as a whole. There is work to be done. My sleeves are rolled up, so let's get to work. I thank you all for tonight. 2 hours is a very long time to put out of your schedule. There's a hard decision that you're going to have to make. And should anybody wish to contact me, please, by all means, feel free to do so. I'll be happy to discuss whatever it is that your current concerns are and share what my ideas are as well. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you. Next, we have Cindy. Cindy,
Thank
you
you.
have 2 minutes.
Okay. I just want to say that I would love the opportunity to serve on the board. We all need to work together and be on the same page in general. I know that I'm not as well known as some of the other candidates, but I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. Not doing this for the recognition and definitely not doing it for the pay. But as homeowners, we need to be heard, and the majority opinion, I feel, needs to be taken into consideration before decisions are voted on. We have an amazing community here. We have amazing amenities. We've got amazing people here. And with your vote and your help, we can overcome some of the issues that are occurring. And I want everybody to continue to say that they are proud to live here in Champions Gate. Thank you. And go enjoy the glass of wine as well.
I will. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you. Okay, next up we have Neil. So Neil, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm sure you're all fed up with listening to everyone by now, so I'll keep my closing remarks brief. Why vote for me? I have the knowledge and experience. I'm committed to this community in its entirety. I have the bandwidth to dedicate the time required. I am retired. And finally, I believe that I am a safe pair of hands. With that, I'll close by saying thank you for listening. Thank you to the other candidates, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you so much, Neil. Thank you. We have Severio. Severio, you have 2 minutes.
Good evening, folks, and it is approaching the witching hours, but in any case, the financial stability seems to be the common theme, which was my main concern. And as I believe Neil said, or Clarence, we need some more static income, and we could do that by offering a variety of non-resident passes. For instance, we offer the full ones that we have now, but we can offer a Monday to Friday only pass. We can offer an afternoon pass only, which would fit some people, better and give us a little more static income. We also need to pursue stability of the employees in the pro shop. I know I sound like a broken record if you are old enough to know records, but Aurelia was a wonderful person and worker. Joel, Chris, Keith, what happened to them? Why are they gone? We need to stabilize the pro shop. The other thing is we need to develop a more fair trail fee for couples. And when the couples don't ride together, there should be a reduced rate for the cart because they still have an empty paid seat. So maybe we knock off $5 or so, and maybe we get more play from that. Overall, everybody has great ideas. So how to get them done? That's the nitty gritty. And so hopefully I could assist in that. We can get some financial stability. We get some additional non-resident passes, a more fair trail fee, and stabilize the employees in the pro shop. I hate seeing a new person every time I check in, in the morning. But new people are nice too, but stability is even better. And I thank everybody. Have a good evening. And I do make wine. Unfortunately, it's difficult to bring on the plane down to Florida. So I'll have to figure out if I can actually make it down there. But have a good evening, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Severio. Thank you. Next, we have James Stone. James, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I too would like to thank everybody that has attended tonight to watch and my fellow candidates. And I'd also like to thank the community and the rest of the board again for my opportunity to serve over the last 10 months. In that relatively short period of time, I've been instrumental in making some changes for the benefit of the entire community. I'm proud of these accomplishments. My approach has been and will continue to be to seek input from the community and communicate to the community through town halls. We had 2 in the last few months, the monthly newsletter, which I write, and responding to emails sent to the board email address. In addition, I've utilized time during board meetings to introduce new or upcoming issues by having open discussions without a vote. Think of the parking pass, think of the plaza access cards. This input from the community has been instrumental in shaping our policies and allowing us to implement a better program. I strongly feel this is an imperative process to our success. In the coming years, our HOA will be faced with a number of complicated matters that will need the undivided attention of the board. It will require board members that have the willingness to devote the necessary time and energy to address these matters. I have a proven track record of commitment and dedication to this board and our community while focusing on getting things done. There is a lot more work to be done. and I ask for your support to allow me to continue to deliver to the community. In closing, I offer my commitment to you if reelected. I won't act based on rumor or innuendo or personal interest, but instead will evaluate all angles and look to arrive at what is best for all of us. Thank you and have a great evening. I'll have that wine now.
Thank you, James. Thank you. And last but not least, we have Clarence. Clarence, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Guys, I'm going for scotch. Okay, you can have the wine. I think it's important that all residents, as we go forward, have an ongoing voice in what goes on with our board. I think our residents are quite lucky that we've got such a variety of folks who want to be and support the board. I would say now, if I'm not elected, I would certainly love to work with the board in any possible means. That being said, I want the community to understand this is your board, so don't feel like you can't approach the board at any time and say what needs to be said or offer up any suggestions. Thanks again for the consideration for everyone, and everyone have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Clarence. Well, that does conclude our Meet the Candidates event. I want to thank everybody for attending. I know it was quite a long event, so thank you so much. I think at one point we peaked at 78 people in attendance, so thank you so much for your time this evening. And thank you so much for to our 10 candidates for coming in tonight and for being just willing to volunteer your time to better serve this community. I think it's fantastic. Honestly, I've never seen 10 candidates running before. So it's really great that we have so many people who are willing to dedicate their time and serve the community. So I want to thank all of you for that. With that being said, just a friendly reminder to everybody, this meeting was recorded. So we are going to upload it to the community YouTube channel tomorrow. And once that is done, we will e-blast it out to the community so that everybody has a chance to watch this and review the candidates if they wish. And other than that, just a few other reminders. Once again, our election is next Wednesday, 1 week from today, September 18th at 6 p.m. in the Plaza Clubhouse. The mailing did go out with the paper ballots, so get those paper ballots in. Electronic voting is going to open this Friday at 8 a.m. That's September 13th at 8 a.m. And electronic voting and to get your paper ballots in, that will all end on Tuesday, the 17th at 4 p.m. So if you fail to cast your vote either electronically or by paper ballot by Tuesday, the 17th at 4 p.m., you will need to cast your vote in person at the meeting on the 18th. So I know that's a lot I just said there, so go ahead and review this video if you do need to, or of course, give us a call or send me an email here at the HOA office. But thank you everybody for your time. Have a fantastic evening, and thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Stephanie, can I just remind people the BOCC meeting 6:30 tomorrow evening with Westside K8 School.
Perfect. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Good night,
Good luck,
everybody.
everybody. Have a good
Good
evening.
night, everybody. Bye.
Good evening.